Stephanie Moore,
Here.
Annabeth Serba.
We are live.
Here.
Got it.
All right, got it. Press got it. All right, we're continuing our meeting, which has been by telephone conference only and now is on YouTube. Annabeth Serba, will you say here or present?
Here.
Laura McConwell,
Here.
Doug Brownlee,
Here.
Kelly Ryan,
Here.
Haile Sims.
Here.
Chris Tallarico
Thank you.
is not here. Rick Gwen,
Here.
Kevin Moriarty,
Here.
Greg Musel,
Here.
Janine Estrada Lopez is not present. And are there any members of the public who would like to identify themselves? We've been notified there's no one on the public telephone, correct?
Correct.
All right. The purpose of the meeting is to review applications submitted for district magistrate judge vacancy in the 10th Judicial District, created with the June 8 retirement of District Magistrate Judge Robert Scott in Johnson County. I have sent a proposed agenda. If there's no objection, we will follow that agenda. Of course, later on, as members of the commission, if you wish to amend, you may do so. Hearing
Justice Wilson, would you like a vote? Would you want us to vote on this approval?
no, I think
Okay.
if you object, just make yourself known. Okay, I see no objection, so I'm just going to move on. To consider the May 22, 2023 minutes, which have also been sent to you and were prepared by the Secretary, Kevin Moriarty. I would entertain a motion to approve or amend.
So moved. This is Rick.
Rick.
To approve.
Rick Gwen moves to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Kelly Ryan, is there any discussion?
Other than my one typo correction on paragraph 7, none.
All right, and that's Laura McConwell's name will be corrected and will be consistent in the minutes as corrected. All right, and is there any other discussion?
I will be abstaining as I was not present.
Okay, do you wish to have that abstaining noted in the minutes?
Doesn't matter to me. I just want to be know I'm not voting.
All right, very well. All in favor, please raise your hand so that we can see who's voting. All opposed, raise your hand. Motion carries. And the next item will be discussion of the district judge nominees to interview and any vetting assignments. There are 4 nominees who have submitted their application forms. 3 of them, the commission has already interviewed. Now, those who are new would not have been involved in those interviews, that many of you will be familiar with Stephanie Benson Hubbard, Elizabeth Betsy Miller, and Wayne Smith. Douglas Hill, I don't believe has applied before, but they're all attorneys, so they would all be qualified for the position. And I didn't check right before the meeting, but for a magistrate judge position, the commission chooses the person who will be the next magistrate judge. There are no names sent to the governor. You are the ones who will select this magistrate judge. And at the time that the person is sworn, they must be a resident of Johnson County. So that's something that is important sometimes. And I'll just open the floor. There are 4 people who are nominees, and there are 14 members of the commission. We've already set the dates for the interview, which will be Wednesday, July 26th at 9 o'clock in the Johnson County Courthouse. The interviews will begin at 9:30 and will be scheduled every 30 minutes. One person has indicated they will appear by Zoom. That's Greg Musel, as I understand it. And so I'll open the floor. Do you want to have members of the commission assigned to each of the applicants for an in-depth interview, official interview? Do you want to all do it yourselves? How would you like to do that?
Well, I need to make it known that I will not be back until 2 days before the official interview meeting. So I will not be able to participate in anything before that time.
Okay.
I have interviewed 2 of the 4 candidates, so personally.
Okay, so you'll have a good background already of the candidates, of at least 2 of them. And that, the questionnaires are extensive. What we could do, that would leave 13, 12 divided by 4 is 3. We could assign 3 people to each nominee, or just look for volunteers and again, assign 2 people to each nominee.
Let's do what we've always done, have one lay and one attorney interview the candidates like we've always done. And
Any
let's start
objection to that?
let's start at the top of the list. That way I won't have to interview anybody.
Well, I agree. I agree with Kevin. Also, we do have 2 new lay members of our commission, and I do think going through the process of and a more in-depth review of your individual candidate you're assigned, and having that dialogue with that person, and then checking the references is an important part of the process. And I would be concerned if we just skip that our new folks would miss an important part of that selection process.
Let's take a few minutes, if it's all right, just to discuss. I know that during one of our meetings recently, we talked about what those things that attorneys add to the process, those things that lay members add to the process. And some of the things that we've mentioned is that attorneys know the law, so they'll be able to, they practice in front of judges. They know what they've seen, good ones, they've seen mediocre ones, they've seen ones that they would not want to have emulated. So those are things, they know the process, they know how hearings work, they know the law. But lay people have a lot to bring to the table too. They are valuable members of the community. That's why you have been selected. You're leaders in your community. You understand things like common sense, how you want people to be treated, honesty, integrity, forthrightness. And I've talked enough. What are some of the other things that you think ought to be said about how those 2 groups of people contribute very valuable input in their own right? Anything else you want to mention?
Certainly, the attorneys a lot of times are familiar with reputations of the attorneys who are applying, so that helps.
And to some extent, that is a positive and a negative. The attorneys know each other. They're all in a fraternity, if you will, quote, quote. And lay people are just kind of on the outside. So we see the person at their face value more. Not that attorneys aren't a good thing.
Well, and Annabeth, you've been on the commission for a long time. You
Forever.
have been a long-term leader in your community. What are some of the advantages you think lay people bring to the table?
Well, if you're really active in the community, you probably know many people are involved in the courts. You've heard positive and negative. I just think having a community, attorneys that I know, many of them work very hard, very long hours. And, you pick up a lot just being socially involved. And I know there's some people, I think, of these new folks that are politically involved. And, you just learn a lot being in the community as a community person. Since I've not been chair, people tell me more about the county commission than I ever heard when I was on there. So I think if someone wants to complain about a lawyer or a judge, they're going to tell me before they're going to tell another lawyer or a judge.
Well, and I can't emphasize too much that you as lay people are just as much a part of this commission as the attorneys are. Don't ever feel like you are an outsider or shy about contributing your opinions, your feelings, your knowledge about the process and the people. Yeah, Kelly.
Justice Wilson, I think another thing that's very helpful from the non-lawyer members that I've seen in the last couple of meetings is having a perspective and kind of evaluating the candidates as if they themselves or a member of their family or friends are coming in to appear in front of a person, that just a fresh perspective when they, as they're doing the interviews, to see how they react and how they talk. And that's something that lawyers are kind of blind to because we are doing it all the time.
Thank you. Okay, well, I am not gonna start at the top. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna jump around. I'm gonna ask for a volunteer, lay or yeah, Kelly, you raised your hand.
I was just going to suggest that if people who have already been on the commission, other than Trent and Hailey, if you've interviewed one of the people, let somebody else interview them. Just try to match it up that way. That might make it easier.
Okay, I'm gonna ask for an attorney volunteer.
Hey, Justice Wilson,
yeah.
can you wait 1 second? It looks like Stephanie might have gotten kicked off and she's joining us.
Okay, yeah,
So,
I'm sorry, I didn't notice that.
okay, just a sec.
I think it would be good if Hailey and Tim work as a team because they're both brand new and they can, or at least they've interviewed. They don't have to be a team, but at least they get, and Trent too.
To
Okay.
be paired with somebody who's already
Right.
interviewed, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
That's true. I didn't mean to leave you out, Judge McCarthy. I know Janine last time really appreciated
Oops.
having the interviews.
I lost Stephanie again. The chat, somebody chatting with me. Chatting with someone. Oh, it says we are live broadcasting on YouTube, so yeah, I already knew that.
Okay, I'm
Stephanie.
working on getting Stephanie back in.
There's
Justice Wilson, this is Greg. Since I am going to be trying to participate by Zoom at the actual interview, I don't want to look particularly lazy, but I would rather not. I don't think I should be one of the interviewers if I may not be there to participate in the meeting.
That makes sense.
So I'll take double duty next time. Nobody here will remember that because they're
So
all,
I'll volunteer to be one of the attorneys because I'm in town. I'm not going anywhere this till the end of the month.
I don't think anybody's ever accused you of being lazy, Greg. Heard some other things about you, but not lazy. No. All good, all good. Okay, Laura, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will, do you have a preference for any of the people, you know, maybe?
I don't, I have not interviewed any, none of the three that have applied before have been a part of the team that I've been on. So
Okay,
I am-
I'm gonna start at the top then with Stephanie Benson Hebard,
okay,
Laura McConwell, and
okay.
let's see. Hailey, would you like to be paired with Laura for Stephanie Benson Hebard?
Wherever you pair me with is fine.
All right, thank you. I will put you with Laura. And do we have another volunteer?
Justice Wilson, I'll do one. That's fine.
All right, Kelly Ryan.
Yep.
And I can do one, Justice Wilson. This is Tim McCarthy. I think I'm the new lawyer member.
Okay. Kelly, is there someone there you've not interviewed?
I've not interviewed. I interviewed any of them. I know all of them except Doug Hill.
Okay, well, I will go ahead and assign you then. What about you, Judge McCarthy? Do you know any of the three left, Doug Hill, Elizabeth Miller, or Wayne Smith?
Wayne Smith's wife and I were law partners from 2006 to 2013. So I know him well. I know who the others are. I don't know the other three.
Okay, I'm going to put you, Judge McCarthy, on Doug Hill.
Okay.
All right. And Kelly Ryan, I'm going to put you on Elizabeth Miller.
Okay.
We have let's see.
You want to have Trent with Kelly?
What?
You want to have Trent with Kelly because we don't have a lay person yet for Kelly.
I know. Yeah, I was going to see if he wanted to go with Judge McCarthy, but that's fine. Do you, Trent Dansel, would you like to go with Kelly Ryan for Elizabeth Miller?
That's fine. Yes.
Great.
All right. And do you know any of the candidates already, Trent?
I don't know.
All right. And I need a lay person to work with Judge McCarthy along with to interview Douglas Hill. Do I have a lay person volunteer who's not already interviewed Doug Hill?
If need be, I would volunteer if there's not a lay person available to assist with that. Rick?
Okay. Rick, I'm going to put you on Wayne Smith, if that's all right. Have you interviewed Mr. Smith already?
I have, but I'm fine interviewing him again.
Okay.
And if you decide you want to flip us with Wayne and Stephanie, we can do that if you haven't done Stephanie, if you want somebody different.
Have you interviewed Stephanie, Rick? Stephanie
I
Benson?
cannot say, no, I don't believe I have.
Okay, Rick, I'm going to put you on Stephanie Benson Hubbard, and you'll be working with Haile Sims.
Okay.
Well, no. Oh, okay.
Laura, you'll be on Wayne Smith.
Okay.
And
Hold on. I'm trying to get the teams right.
yeah,
Let's start.
I'll help you. It's
Okay.
Rick Gwynn and Haile Sims for Stephanie Benson Hubbard. We have Tim McCarthy for Douglas Hill, but we still need a lay member volunteer. So,
I can volunteer, but I'm still kind of consider myself a newbie,
all right.
but happy to help.
Stephanie, you'll be working with Judge McCarthy, thank you, to interview Douglas Hill. That'll be a great interview team. Kelly Ryan and Trent Dansel are interviewing Elizabeth Miller. And Laura McConwell is interviewing Wayne Smith, and I need a lay person for Wayne Smith.
I was part of the team that Rick and I interviewed Wayne last go around, but if there's not another lay person available, I could do it again.
I think that we got somebody that's not here. Let's just nominate them.
Yes.
Chris Tallarico is
Yep,
not
sounds
here.
good.
And
So-
Janine.
And Janine. I'm a little hesitant. I've not met Janine yet. I don't think.
Oh,
new.
well, I was a partner with her in November. I met her. We did
Yeah.
interviews. She works down at Western District Court of Appeals.
Okay,
You've met her.
okay,
So,
She was
I
new
mean, you
last
can,
time.
she can team her with me.
okay.
That's fine.
I will.
And then Doug's off the hook.
Okay, Chris is off the hook too. Okay, Janine Estrada Lopez will be paired with Laura McConwell for Wayne Smith, and that's our team.
Okay.
And Kevin, are you clear on that?
Yeah, I got it. You want to
Would it
assign
be
time?
possible to send out the contact, email, phone number information, Michelle, to everybody so we know how to get a hold of our partners?
Yes, yes, I can.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we've got item number 3 taken care of. We all have already discussed item number 4, which is the schedule that we have already established. And the confirmation email is part of the agenda. That's item number 7, the last item. Information that the commission would like to be included in the email for the candidates to review to prepare for their interview. And in the past, we've said that they could have a few minutes to introduce themselves and say what they would like for the commission to know as a kind of an introduction.
That may be the way it's done in other, but in the last 18 years, we've always had the opening softball question that we've asked them. And what's happened is recently when we confused some of them by telling them when they were sent out in writing, unbeknownst to the members, that they were to give an opening. The members were unaware of that. And so as a result, we did a disservice to those nominees. So we're not going to do it that way.
Plus, it took up a big chunk of time too.
Correct.
Because they only have 20 minutes. So,
well, and I think it's all, if you don't want to have them tell you what they want you to know, then I think it's important. I mean, a softball question is fine, but at some point, I think they ought to be able to say something to you. And that's just me. You don't have to do it that way.
We
But
always give them a few minutes in the end to close.
if you want to do it that way, that's fine with me. Some people have it in the opening, and if you don't want to do it that way, you don't have to do it that way. The people that introduce them can give them a softball question. Greg?
Well, I don't know if we're interviewing all of them with people on the committee. Why can't the commission members ask them, would you like to take 2 minutes to tell us what to do about yourself up front? Or would you like to start with a softball question or introduce yourself and then have a softball question? I don't know why as long as you know, Justice Wilson, so when you introduce them, you know which it's going to be, and the commission member needs to tell you before that person comes in the room how they're going to start.
That's fine too.
That's fine. The only thing is we cannot send something out that tells them something different than what we're doing. That created problems last time. They were upset about it, and I don't blame them.
That's something we allow judges to do, but not this commission.
well, then maybe we don't tell them just tell them to be ready for any questions.
Okay.
And because that's the purpose of having the meeting with the layperson and the attorney to kind of talk about the interview and the process.
And if a member of the team that interviews asks the softball question, whatever question you want to ask them, that's fine. And that is totally fair. But I think it's also important to ask the same questions of each candidate. Because I know, there have also been times in the past where some of the candidates have gotten really tough questions, and then the next candidate didn't get the same questions. It was more of a free-flowing discussion about, other things. So if fairness means that everybody gets the same thing, then I think it is important to think about, okay, these are my questions. These are the ones I'm going to ask these members of who are nominees, so that you can judge their answers to the same questions. Seems to me that it's a fair way of going about it. But you don't have to do that. But it's, I've noticed in some of the interviews that I've gone through now during the last 3.5 years that sometimes the questions of the candidates are not the same. And that to me seemed to be a potential issue that they might object to. Yes,
Yeah, I just wanted to, regardless of how we do it at the beginning or at the end, I do think that someone should be given the opportunity, and I agree it should be timed. You know, hey, you've got 2 minutes to tell us why we should pick you as the next magistrate. But I do think that should be part of this process, you know, at some point in time. I don't think it should just be all questions. I think they should have that opportunity to, you know, give us their, you know, best spill about, you know, why we should select them.
that's a good point. But if they're allowed, they should be the time. Go ahead.
Highly, just being paired with you, Highly, my anticipation is we'll ask them, what do you want as your softball question? A lot of people want to say why they want to become the judge.
Okay.
So that would be their softball question. And then just very briefly, I think the reason that there's differences sometimes in the questioning is because of the information that they provide in their application. So I have not really experienced a concern about, I mean, if there are tough questions being asked, it in my experience has had to do with something that was indicated in their application that caused the tough questions. So anyway, that's just my observation.
Well,
You have to be flexible. Go ahead, Annabelle.
in the very beginning, when I started, which is many moons ago, we had set questions written down that we all agreed upon ahead of time, and those are the only ones asked. I feel that the change where we ask different questions to different people because we have different reasons to ask them really is a lot more knowledgeable of the candidate as opposed to just A, B, C, D, you know. So
this team has always asked very good questions. You know, some of the problems that I see, I've seen in other interview processes. Okay. Well, by a show of hands, how many of you want to just simply begin with a softball question? Okay, how many want them to be prepared to make a 2-minute speech at the beginning? Okay, we will delete any reference to making a speech at any time.
But are we saying that softball question is what Rick said? Hey, you know, why do you want to become the next magistrate?
Yeah, I was going to say generally, yes, Highlight.
Okay.
That's what it'll be. It's like, so what about your background means that we should pick you? Why do you want to be a magistrate? Because people have different motivations and reasons for wanting to be on the bench. And then that gives them the opportunity to say, you know, they want to do it because of community service, you know, what their skills are, what their trial experience is. And it gives them that opportunity to kind of set the stage and then the questions come. And I do think, in fairness to us, we do try to ask some of the same questions of the different candidates, just because it's fair to have the information to compare apples to apples.
Oh yeah.
I will say I was shocked when I came back and there were only 4 applications. I mean, we're going to be done with this by lunch.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to need lunch.
Is there any objection to
take it with us?
Is there any objection to having me ask them as a kind of a final question, allowing them to wrap up by telling us anything else that they would like for the commission to know?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I think that sounds great. Because this is their opportunity to tell us whatever within the confines of our time.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Is there any
just to confirm, I'm just going to take that whole bit about preparation out of the email and just be prepared to to begin at the time, because usually I say, please join the commission 15 minutes prior to your interview, and then the other information. So, okay.
Yeah, and make sure I see it before it goes out. Okay, is there anything else the commission would like to discuss?
We're going to be where we were last time in the jury room. Okay.
I don't know.
So,
Jury assembly room, same,
I-
the large one with the conference room will have
Right.
the
right.
food and drink set up.
For new people, that's the second floor of the courthouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You go up the stairs and it's on your right.
I like the large room because I don't want to have, well, we're going to have a Zoom with Greg.
Greg.
That will be his
Okay.
way.
You'll be hiking by the afternoon, Greg,
Okay, the
or
question,
rafting or whatever it is you want to do.
okay, now we
Right,
doing the public
anything
or
else?
Zoom or only in person? We need to know that answer. Last time we did not do the public by Zoom. We said that if they wanted to be present, they could be present. Remember that?
I
I
prefer
think they
that.
should be present.
Okay.
Okay,
And Justice Wilson, even though we only have 4 candidates, I'm still going to go ahead and order lunch for everyone so that we have that for enticement for everyone.
okay.
Will there be cookies?
That'd be great. That'd be
Oh, there'll
nice.
be cookies,
There
absolutely.
should be cookies. Yeah. Chocolate chips.
And milk, yeah.
And milk.
I'll show up.
All right. Anything else for the good of the order? All right, I am going to pronounce this meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and have